Right, everybody, the January transfer window is open. In this video, I'll be talking about 3 players that Manchester United must sell in this January window. We'll be talking about what I think should happen, what Amorim will do, and ultimately what is realistic. Let me know your thoughts. Leave a like, comment, subscribe if you are new, and let's get straight into it. Listen, the first player that I think should leave Manchester United in January is Antony. Whether that's now a loan deal, whether that's a permanent move, the loan deal does seem more likely. Listen, there's way more players I think United should leave, but I'm on about realistically in January. Now, his agent has obviously confirmed there are offers on the table for Antony. People are obviously interested in him. He is a decent player, but simply just not working out for Manchester United. I mean, you look at it, he's someone who's on, I think, about 200k. You get that off your wage book. Someone who costs £95 million. You give that space available for someone younger to come through, whether that's a Sam Mather, whether that's a Shea Lacey, whether that's Matanto, I think his name is, from the academy. You do give that opportunity through for young players to come through. And ultimately, listen, Antony doesn't fit the system. He was signed under Ten Hag for a ridiculous amount of money. He doesn't suit the system. As I said, isn't good enough as well. Amorim's ultimately using him because we just need him in the squad and get him in the shop window ultimately. He's had a few decent performances, but that's probably really about it. I think he is a decent player. He works tremendously hard. I think he is good defensively, and a right wing back at times he's looked sharp. But ultimately, for me, the main aim would be getting Antony out of the football club as soon as he possibly can. I think a loan deal would probably be more realistic, and then a permanent move in the summer. You have to be ruthless. I think Ineos, well, obviously they didn't sign Antony, but the Glazers or whoever did, Ed Woodward, John Mercer, I'm happy they're gone, because 95 million for Antony. I mean, if United would have bought him like 2 months before, it would have cost them £25 million. So that Antony deal hasn't worked out. I'm sorry to say, Antony has to leave Manchester United, and ultimately it would be best for all parties to kind of get Antony out of the club. So he would be one of the first players I get rid of. I don't think he's good enough, and I don't think he has the quality to be a Manchester United player ultimately. So Antony would be the first one I look to get rid of. Number 2, Christian Eriksen. Number 2, sorry, Marcus Rashford. I'm only going to talk about 3 in this quick segment, but Rashford for me would be one of them I get rid of. As I said, I've done a few videos on Rashford now. Listen, he's an academy player, someone who has done a lot for the football club, a lot of goals, a lot of assists, but is he good enough in the long run? Do we see him in the future? He's 27 years old. Amorim has obviously frozen him out. He doesn't think he suits the system. Amorim certainly would be looking at getting Rashford gone from the football club as soon as he possibly can. In January, I mean, the most realistic would be a loan deal, probably paying 50% of his wages. Ultimately, I wouldn't mind doing that, or even paying a third of his wages, 33%. You can maybe do something like that, but ultimately Rashford would be one of those players you have to look at. Listen, he's been at the club for 20 years. He's come through all the ranks. He's seen everything. He's won a few trophies, 2 FA Cups, a Europa League, 2 Carabao Cups in the time that he's been here. So, and listen, I think the way it's ended has been toxic. He has kind of been frozen out, but he is working hard, and the fact that he does want to stay at Manchester United could see that potentially happen. But for me, I would be looking at getting rid of Rashford. It's sad because I do like him, as I said. I think he is a good player, but just simply hasn't worked out really in the last few years, and he doesn't fit the Amorim system. Now, the last player, Casemiro. Now, Saudi, I think it's Al Qadiza, Al Ittihad and Al Nassr. They've been interested in signing a 32-year-old. It was a very bad signing. Again, for Casemiro, it's going to be more of a permanent deal. Could you get it done in January? Probably not. But ultimately, there's going to be a lot of players that Manchester United do get rid of and do release, whether that's, as I said, Casemiro is going to be one, Eriksen, Lindelof, Maguire, Evans. There's going to be a lot of players getting released. Casemiro has still got a year or 2 left on his deal. United gave him a ridiculous 5-year deal 2 seasons ago. And now they're struggling to pay. I mean, he's on 350 grand a week. He's not nowhere near that price tag. And ultimately, he is massively struggling with confidence. And he just simply isn't good enough for Manchester United. I mean, that game he played against Newcastle was shocking. He's had a few good games this season, but most of them have been bad in which he played. He hasn't got the legs and the mobility anymore. One of the best and will be remembered as one of the greats, but he's doing the simple things wrong. I think in this January window, if a Saudi club comes in, I'd be all over that deal to get Casemiro out of the club. But there are 3 players I think Manchester United could get rid of in January. Realistically, I think Casemiro you could get rid of, Rashford you could get rid of, and Antony. I think all that, in Rashford's case, a great servant to the club and could be even considered as a legend for what he's done. But just simply isn't good enough anymore. Doesn't suit the system. Casemiro gave us 1 good season. Other than that, hasn't really been great. Was key in that 1 season, though we did win the Carabao Cup. But the last 2 seasons after that have been absolutely diabolical. Anthony, listen, he's had a few good games, but that's really about it. Anthony was probably one of the worst signings over recent years. I'd actually think the Maguire signing was better than Anthony, because at least Maguire's actually given something. Anthony, yes, he's been there less time, but hasn't done enough. But listen, let me know your thoughts. Leave a like if you are new, comment, subscribe. That has been 3 players I think should leave Manchester United in the January transfer window. Thank you for watching. Peace.